And then for the Yacht Boys, we have Gelu Baba, Miley, Froth, and Thisa. So right away, I'm assuming we're going to see a turbo from Speechless because their turbo was so strong. Well, what is the Yacht Boys going to have?
Turbo time!
It's turbo time! What is Yacht
Yeah,
Boys playing?
I would be surprised if we saw anything for the turbo from Speechless. Their turbo has looked so strong already in this tournament. But it should be interesting from the Yacht Boys. We've seen they have 2 mages available to them, so if they do play Shadow, which mage do they play with? But they also, of course, have their very, very high-rated RMD, probably one of the better RMDs in the tournament also. We have so many good RMDs in this tournament, actually. Pretty much all the best ones available in Europe right now. And Miley, Gelu, and Thessia on the Rogue would be that RMD should they choose to play it. So we've already seen Speechless go up against Minpoike's RMD. They only really had one serious game, but they did look really strong in the matchup. But this team might provide a different flavor of RMD, so that might be something interesting to look out for.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Yeah, there were a lot of calls for Jamie, I think, in this matchup, so I'm really interested to see it play out again. I think RMD versus Turbo has been one of the more exciting matchups throughout the expansion, so I would expect to see it. Anthasia joins the arena as combat, so it's going to be the combat version of it, which is a lot more constant damage. They can usually kill through defensive cooldowns if they line it up properly with their red buff killing spree. And we see Gelu Baba joining the fray on the Frost Mage, so we are going to see RMD versus Turbo. This is the semifinals to determine who moves to the grand finals in the winner side of the bracket and who is going to fall to the loser side. I'm curious to see if Speechless's Turbo Cleave can keep up their defensive perfection, or will the Yacht Boys find a weakness and exploit it? We're going to find out.
Yeah. You know, I really like Thesia going combat against Turbo. I think it, like you said, it helps them get through those defensive cooldowns. And with the short duration on Shamanistic Rage as well as Ironbark, you know, there's probably going to be a defensive cooldown available, but they're going to have to punch through it against Speechless, I think, if they want to take down a Turbo. Especially a Turbo as good as this, who's going to rotate through the defensive cooldowns super well. But here we go. The gates have opened. It's Speechless versus the Yacht Boys, a best-of-5 series in the semifinals. Woohoo!
Yep. Yacht Boys all in stealth. Speechless have this interesting positioning at the start where Looney goes very far away to avoid getting sapped. We see a sap on Jamie right now. Doesn't look like the Yacht Boys can do too much with it, though. Blade Storm out from Blizzo finds Thasia, really well timed from Blizzo, and that's going to prevent a lot of opening pressure for the Yacht Boys here. As Thasia is caught into a Stormbolt, the Turbo are going crazy. Colossus smashes up. Miley's caught into a full fear. We see Thasia trading out advantage, trying to recover through this situation. They land the Deep Freeze, they land the Ring of Frost. Good CC from the Yacht Boys have forced the Shamanistic Rage out from Jamie, but will that even be enough? It seems like they're just damaging hard into it with no follow-up CC onto Looney. He should be able to save Jamie. They're just kiting around the pillar, doing a good job defensively. They're going to recover, trading out the Sham Rage and holding onto their trinkets, which is very important for Looney. He wants to make sure that he can trinket that blind almost every time. Thasia, a little bit kind of cautious to push forward here. He doesn't get fully bashed by Looney. They could follow this up with a Stormbolt, maybe try and kill him in the half stun. Doesn't look like they want to commit it. Full blind on Looney, trades that trinket right away, uses the Ironbark. Really well played from Speechless, trading their defensive cooldowns exactly the way that they need to stay alive here, which means that Jamie should be able to counter pressure very shortly.
Yeah, this Turbo Cleave is on point right now. The opener was so good because Blizzo was able to avoid CC, and again there, Blizzo able to avoid CC. A good Ironbark out from Looney, but the story of the day is that Blizzo is just stopping every single CC coming in onto Looney, which is such a big problem for the Yacht Boys. They need to be landing these CCs. They need to get pressure onto Jamie. The Sham Rage will be available for the next go, but there will be no Ironbark. We do see the parry coming out from Blizzo. They may be trying to pre-parry a bash there, but that might set up an opportunity for them. There's no Ironbark. They could definitely go on Blizzo here, but it does look like they are going for Jamie. The CC does come out perfectly this time. The Cyclone onto Blizzo, the Rov onto Looney. The Sham Rage comes out on about 70%. Is he going to be able to stabilize here? He doesn't have too many hots, and this is a good amount of damage coming out from Thessia, who does land that DR sap into the Garrote on Looney. Good CC coming out from him. We do see counter pressure potentially coming out from this Turbo Cleave, though. There's the Recklessness and the Ascendance pop right now. They're trying to get the RMD to just go away from them. They know they're under a bit of pressure here. They're trying to counter pressure as much as possible. And Gelu Baba is taking the brunt of it. He's down to 80% though. Looks like Miley is stabilizing him. Good defensive Cyclones coming out, making sure that this Turbo Cleave is shut down.
I like that preemptive Iron Bark from Looney. He's just trying to slow down the Yacht boys. We see a full fear onto Miley, and Thasia used his combat readiness earlier, which means he's forced to trinket, get that evasion to dodge the attacks. They're moving forward to attack Jamie. They go for the defreeze, but they don't land the polymorph afterwards. Gello kind of throwing the CC, and that was their opportunity to win with no Shamanistic Rage and no trinket on Looney. So that botch setup for the Yacht boys means that they probably want to just retreat and run away. We see Gello Baba in the center of the map. Mileyzor moving back like he wants to maybe get a drink potentially. I would think that's the smart move here, as it's basically a reset for the Turbo Cleave's defensive cooldowns. Thasia still getting pressured, actually used his Vanish defensively, so losing his Vanish is pretty important moving forward to get that triple CC. It seems like they're pressuring Gello. Blizzo just right on top of him, just chopping him up, trying to build some momentum, trying to prevent Miley from drinking, but Miley did get a lot of mana back here earlier. There's the triple CC out from the Yacht boys. They land the defreeze, they get the sheep. They don't get the clone though onto Blizzo. He goes for the Stormbolt. Miley shadow melts the Stormbolt. Really well played from Miley. That's going to open him up to get a Cyclone onto Looney. There's still a lot of pressure onto Jamie. Maybe they even have to overlap Shamanistic Rage or something here. They're trying to hold on to it. His Life Bloom's going to bloom. A lot of healing coming out from Looney now as Looney shadow melts any incoming CC. Really good shadow melts from the Druids here, breaking up their CC to keep their teams going.
Yeah, that was really well played again there by the Turbo Cleave. Even though Miley shadow melded the Stormbolt, Blizzard then Blade Storm to avoid getting CC'd still. Blizzard is just so difficult to CC. They're making it so tricky for this RMD, who have to play essentially perfectly to get their CC. But Thessia's now dropping low down to 50%, but we do see the triple CC to answer. Kiba actually using his trinket there on blind. Oh, it wasn't on blind, but they overlapped the blind and the sheep. That's so unfortunate because they could have got the kill here potentially. The Vigilance comes out. They might still get it anyways. Can they land the resheep? It doesn't look like it. A nice share coming out from Jamie, and I feel like that overlap on the blind and the sheep might have cost them the kill, but Jamie's still not out of the woods. A nice cycling coming in from Miley on 40%. If they can get the recycling, if they can get any follow-up, but again, Blizzard's there. He gets the Stormbolt onto Miley before he can swap the cyclone around. We do see the cheap shot onto Looney. It doesn't look like there's going to be any follow-up, but the DR Deep, again, pummeled on the sheep. Gello Baba is just struggling so much to get the CC onto this Turbo Cleave. They're just doing everything they can to stay alive.
Yeah, Jamie has Shamanistic Rage to trade defensively, so we can expect to see Speechless to play aggressive as they're pushing onto Miley, just cleaving them down. Miley caught into a Stormbolt, but he did pre-bash the Stormbolt on Blizzo, so that's going to prevent a lot of damage. Miley's kind of playing greedy, holding onto his bark skins, but I think he's going to get away with it here, trying to get some cast over onto Gello. He's kind of afraid of Jamie interrupting him, though. He's trying to pull away. We see combat readiness out from Thasia. He's expecting a lot of damage on himself. He is the most forward player at the moment here. Looney in the far back, trying to keep his hots rolling, trying to stay out of line of sight, trying to predict a deep freeze so his team has time to react. Blizzo doesn't care, though. He's just charging across over onto Miley. He might eat a Cyclone. He's going to Stormbolt the Cyclone, prevent himself from getting cloned, prevent that triple CC, which is very important here. We see a gouge on Jamie. I expect a kidney shot out of it. Looney sees it coming, pre-Ironbarks Jamie. Really well played from Looney. They get the deep freeze, but they have to follow it up with a clone instead, which means the CC is going to be a lot shorter. I think they drop the Roth, but he blinks right out of the clone and manages to immune the Roth in time. So important for Looney right there. He's going to break up the CC on himself, and they only trade an Ironbark, which means that Speechless get even more ahead in defensive cooldowns. They've got a lot of pressure on Thasia. He's trying to trade out this evasion to dodge incoming attacks. Seems to be doing a good job so far. Miley looking for a Cyclone. Lands a clone onto Blizzo. Gello blazing speeding in, looking to maybe get a deep freeze on Looney. There's the deep freeze on the Looney. They need to chain it into a sheep. Triple CC out from the Yacht boys. Shamanistic Rage going to get trade from Jamie. Will they have enough damage to just punch through it? They have to constantly go through this cooldown, and if they can kill him through it, they're going to easily take the game. Looney gets blinded. He's going to trinket out of that right away. Shadow melts the next CC. NS is Jamie back to full. Miley caught into a Stormbolt. Thasia getting punished here. He's trying to pull back. He doesn't want to overextend out of line of sight of Miley at the moment here, but they have a win condition. There's no Shamanistic Rage. There's no trinket on Looney. This is the setup that the Yacht boys need to land. Blizzo, though, landing a triple fear, preventing the momentum here. Thasia's trying to go in. He's a little bit nervous, it would appear. He wants to go out of line of sight, but Miley needs to move up with him. Thasia's now pushing in. Looney pre-Ironbarks. This is going to slow down the go for the Yacht boys even longer. It seems like they're just going to go anyway. They have to damage through the Ironbark. Killing Spree comes out. Vigilance is going to be answered by Blizzo. Great response, trading out that cooldown. Now with the Ironbark and the Vigilance, they can counter pressure Miley with the Ascendants, forcing him to displace in retreat, trying to get across the map. Still a lot of pressure on Jamie, though, with dampening stacking up. It's hard for Looney to recover. Even his own off healing is going to be a lot lower. He's trying to stay out of line of sight. He doesn't want to throw the game here. He does make it out alive. He's got Shamanistic Rage stage for the next setup, and that was all really a big offensive cooldowns for the Yacht boys. Thasia's damage is going to be a lot lower for a few seconds here, and Speechless might be able to find an opportunity. Charged on to Thasia, that could easily be the game. Miley forced to trinket out of the Storm Bolt to save him. They save him. They're looking for triple CC, but they don't get it. Looney pre-shifts the Deep Freeze. Blizzo Blade Storms the cheap shot, and they prevent all of the CC, which means that Speechless should be able to go crazy here pretty shortly.
Yeah, there's so many outplays coming from Speechless. They're always getting the pre-iron backs, the pre-shifts. Blizzo's always avoiding as much CC as possible, and the Yacht boys are starting to fall really far behind here. The mana's still good on Miley, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for them to survive. They need to land these triple CCs. As the dampening stacks up, they're going to get into more and more trouble.
Oh, but they're setting up onto Blizzo, actually, on that. He used his Die by the Sword offensively, I think, earlier. So now they're forced to trade out the Iron Bark onto Blizzo, but they don't get a kill. With that swap, they were looking to kill Blizzo, and now that they've committed a lot of resources to him, they're going to be even more behind. Looney's trying to pre-shift a Deep Freeze, but they land a full fear on Miley. A full stun onto Thasia could easily be the game. A bash out of the fear. Thasia's answering that with his evasion. Blizzo, though, blade storming the incoming stun. Really well done, preventing himself from getting triple CC'd. Miley actually cloning the trinket onto Looney, but I don't think it's going to matter. They have to commit all their damage to Blizzo. They're going to drop the smoke bomb. They have to kill Blizzo here and now. Will they be able to do it? He's down to 8. They're going to finish him off. That was the miracle swap. Everything was looking in favor of Speechless, but they found an opportunity to exploit. Blizzo using his cooldown so aggressively and his positioning so aggressively, and with dampening so high, the healing was so low on himself that he was not able to survive. A great smoke bomb out from Thasia are going to claim victory in game number 1.
What a swap,
Yeah, there wasn't
man.
actually
Wow.
any CC onto Looney, but that smoke bomb was just so perfect, and Blizzo just goes down.
You know, like the choice to use that Die by the Sword earlier, and the way that they're rotating through their defensives was crazy. It was really impressive that Yacht boys were able to find that opportunity to make that swap into Blizzo, because they just look so defensively. They just looked like a wall that they could not break through. But that swap over out onto Blizzo, you know, without the Die by the Sword, without the trinket for just like 10 more seconds, and that smoke bomb, that was a really big deal. And the Yacht boys, after fighting their hearts out throughout that entire game, are going to take game number 1 on the Grand Arena. But Speechless, they can't be feeling too bad about that loss, because they look so confident in their ability throughout that entire game. But this is a big reason why I can't play Turbo, because
It's so long and so accurately.
yeah, like if I go and I invest that amount of time into a game and surviving, and, you know, rotating through my defensive cooldowns and being really precise with it, and then still losing at the end of like a 20-minute game, I would tilt way too hard. But these guys, they've been doing it for a while, and hopefully they have their head on straight going into game number 2, because this RMD is not going to be you know, letting up at all. This is the semifinals. Both these teams have not lost so far to this point. And here we go. The next map is going to be Ruins of Lordaeron, chosen by Speechless. What do you think about this this map choice coming out from the Turbo?
This is like their home base. Dalaran used to be the main home base, but it seems like Ruins has adapted over the past year to be kind of the best map for Turbo Cleave in this matchup specifically. The tomb is really hard for Gelu to get around and get CC. It's just one solid pillar. It's hard for the Yacht boys to kite back, and the only place they can kite back to is the room, and that stacks them up. And Speechless are really, that's what they're looking for. They want all 3 players stacked up so they can hit whatever they want, cleave them all down at the same time, and try and Miley a little bit faster. But Miley did an extraordinary job managing his mana, being at 67% so that his team could keep staying aggressive. Usually what you'll see happen is if the rest of Druid runs out of mana, then the RMD are like, okay, can we go? I mean, can you keep us alive? Are you going to heal me? Can you press rejuve? Like, what's going on? Like, but Miley managed his mana really well so that they could stay aggressive like that. And I like that they adapted to the way that Speechless was playing, and they exploited Blizzo as a weakness. Blizzo used his trinket as a cooldown for Jamie, which meant that he couldn't use it for himself. So smart play from the Yacht boys to find that weakness.
I was really impressed by Miley's mana management in that last game, because there was a lot of damage coming out from this Turbo Cleave, and he still managed to keep his mana high. I don't think we even drank, and that was a good 8-9 minutes into the game when they landed that kill, so really good job by Miley. Really efficient use of his mana in that last game, and his team didn't even drop that low, to be honest. But we do see the opener coming in now, the nice cheap shot clone onto Blizzo. Kibba sitting in stealth, making sure that he can delay the CC as long as possible. He does get that pre-iron back onto Jamie. They should be okay. The Rov does land, and there is sheeps onto Blizzo, so he might be able to get the cycling off this, but a nice Stormbolt before before the sheep by Blizzo. Make sure that that's unlikely to happen. The blind is triggered out by Looney, so they will stabilize, but they actually get the DR sheep. So Jamie's dropping low now. He does have that Sham Rage available, but he really wants to hold on to it. They don't want to have to use everything in the opener. The Grode comes out, the full kidney shot. He's actually going to have to Sham Rage, surely. It's down to 30%. They overlap the Sham Rage and the Visions. This is so much trouble for Speechless. He's still down to 20%. If they can get the low Cyclone, it could just be the game. He's down to 20% still. It looks like they are going to be able to stabilize now. The NS comes out from Looney, but they have used everything, and he's actually gone straight back into a full sheep. Down to 80%. You do see a lot of cooldowns being forced out from the Yacht Boys, however.
Yeah, the Yacht Boys staying on top of each other stacked up meant that Speechless could do a lot of damage in return, and Miley was forced to Barkskin, Heart of the Wild. We got a block out of Gelu as well, so Speechless are returning the damage back as well, but they don't really have anything to survive the next go as long as Stasia can set this up well. Cheap shot on Blizzo. They land the clone. Is Blizzo going to trinket here to try and break up some CC? Doesn't look like he's going to, and, you know, not trinketing this clone might be a bit of a mistake. Jamie's going to take a lot of damage from the Yacht Boys. They need to keep this chain going onto Looney. They land the half shape. Miley really needs to get in here and get a clone if they want to get a kill. There's the quarter shape. Miley needs to get a clone. They're going to use the Garrote Silence instead. Will that be enough to finish him off? Jamie's holding on to his just trying to stay alive. They're going to get the Shaman Rage barely in time, but even that might not be enough. Rallying Cry is forced out as they land the full Cyclone, and surely he's going to go down through these cooldowns. Rallying Cry is going to fall. There's nothing to keep him alive, and the Yacht Boys are just doing an incredible amount of damage that Jamie is unable to do anything to survive. Despite having the Ironbark, despite having the Shamanistic Rage, the Yacht Boys are just relentless.
Yeah, that was insane to CC onto Looney. Like, they always landed that Grode off the sheeps, and they just waited for that stun DR to come off, and then they always had a bash or a kidney, something for him. They just CC'd him forever, but the one thing I really liked there from Thessia was, on that setup, obviously, once the stuns ran out on Jamie, he's going to share the DR sheep, and Thessia actually gouged him just for a millisecond towards the end of the sheep cast. The timing on that was so perfect that it meant that Gelu was able to land that resheep onto Looney. That was insane plays by him. I can't believe that he even went for that, because it cost him so much energy and it just breaks instantly on damage, but it actually worked. Right. The timing there, I can't believe that play. I don't think I've actually ever seen that before.
All of a sudden, you know, the Yacht Boys going into game number 1, they looked like they were kind of struggling to get through the defensives of Speechless, but game number 2 was a different story. From the get-go, they were forcing this turbo on the back foot, and they never really let up. I mean, the CC DRs occurred, but the damage was still there, keeping them relatively, you know, low, like below 70% health, and I don't know. That was a much different game. Maybe it was because of the map choice, but that map choice was the Turbo's map choice. So all of a sudden, Speechless is just one loss away from being knocked down to that lower bracket after getting here to the semifinals without losing. But here we go. We are hopping into another map from Speechless, and it is going to be Dalaran Sewers. I'll see you guys in a hot minute. All right, here we go. It's Speechless versus the Yacht Boys, game number 3. And they're both sticking with the turbo. They're sticking with the turbo as well as that RMD. But the Yacht Boys, they got to be feeling pretty good so far about how this series has gone.
I think, like Super T said, the new home for Turbo is ruins, but sometimes the new homes aren't nice. You want to go back to your old home, so we do find ourselves on Dalaran Sewers here. Potentially the last map of this series, and this is the #1 seed, just getting 2-0'd right now by the Yacht Boys, so they're playing incredibly well, and that last game looked incredibly convincing, so if they can pull another one out like that, they're going to look so strong going into the final of this tournament. Of course, the winner does get put through into that final, but a nice find by Speechless means that there will be no good opener here from the Yacht Boys, and Blizzard just charges into a shot that he gets the triple fit instantly trinketed by Gelu Baba, but this is so devastating for the Yacht Boys. They really need to get something going. A nice charge into the Stomp on Thessia, but he does get the feint off. He's not going to take too much damage here. Down to 60%. The sheep's coming out from Gelu Baba. We do see the bash onto Miley. That's going to force the skin out. They're forcing so many defensive cooldowns, but they need to go offensive, the Yacht Boys. The deep comes out onto thing. They're swapping it over onto Looney, onto Kibba. He's into the DR bash. He doesn't have to trinket though. That's a really important that he was able to hold his trinket there, but he is down to 50%. Looks like he's going to stabilize for now.
Yeah, that was a bit of a scary swap for Looney, but Speechless held onto their cooldowns correctly, and they're going to escape it almost unscathed. Now there's a full blind onto Looney. He's going to Trinket out of that right away. They don't want to overlap Shaman Rage and Trinket here, so Jamie's trying to hold on to it. Doesn't look like they have enough damage to force it, so really well done from Speechless. I think they're rotating their cooldowns very effectively if they want to extend this game. Thasia pushing forward, trading out his cooldowns here. Combat readiness to stay aggressive. Blizzo caught in a Chief Shot. Miley clones him out. Full sheep onto Looney. Jamie surely is going to need to Shamanistic Rage as we see him use it to reduce damage. Really well played, and now this is the situation that the Yacht boys are looking to set up. They're getting the full clone now onto Looney. We see the Ascendants out from Jamie. They're trying to counter pressure, forcing Miley away to prevent him from cycloning Looney any further. Well done. They forced him away, but I don't know, not forcing the Barkskin means that they can't really swap to him again. They're forced to commit their damage onto Thasia, and Thasia sees that, so he's already running away. He's not going to overextend. Miley should be able to cast some heals here shortly, trying to go for the regrowth. He's kind of scared of getting Windshirt, I think, so he's a little bit afraid to cast. He actually traded the NS. Did he instantly get purged on the NS? I didn't even see the healing go off. A full fear now onto Miley from Blizzo, but he's in a sheep. We see preemptive Ironbark out from Looney. Very important for Looney to get this Ironbark up, as it is really the last line of defense. Blizzo doesn't want to trade his Trinket, as he could get swapped to later, and this Ironbark is a great play from Looney. Jamie's going to escape, get back to the pillar, start kiting away from Thasia. Blizzo getting CC'd though on his wreck. If they can keep him cloned, Miley looking for maybe a clone. Blizzo has that reflect up really well done to break up CC on himself, so he can get some momentum over onto Baba, who is down to 50%. But the Yacht boys go for a kidney shot onto Looney. Killing spree over onto Jamie. He has Shaman Rage, but he's just not pressing it. Vigilance comes out. They overlap it with the Shaman Rage and the Rallying Cry. A lot of cooldowns used by Speechless. And finally, you know, a bit of a miscommunication from the side of Speechless, not correctly responding to the damage of Thasia, and they're going to get punished pretty hard for it.
Yeah, the Yacht boys are coming up with these creative ways of producing damage right now. Like they're random kidney onto Looney there. They pop all their damage cooldowns, and it means there's a slow reaction from Speechless, who are of course expecting that deep setup. So really well played by the Yacht boys. These creative plays are winning them the game right now, but we do see lots of damage coming out from this Turbo Cleave. Of course, the stun DRs are up on them right now, so they will be going offensive again here shortly. There is the blind onto Looney. He does have his Trinket available. He does Trinket and Ironbark instantly. This is a lot of damage coming out from Thesia, so that was a really good reaction from Looney. He's into the deep freeze now. Can they stop the sheep? It looks like Blizzo does stop that sheep. He's able to get there and get the pummel. The Ironbark does expire, but they actually land CC onto Looney anyways. The DR sheep right now. I'm not entirely sure how that's DR, but Miley's sitting down for a drink, and there's no pressure coming out from Speechless right now. We do see the shield one to Thesia. A good trade of cooldowns allows Miley to get up to about 55% mana, which means he's going to be in good shape going into dampening, as this Turbo Cleave is running low on cooldowns.
Oh, a swap over onto Blizzo, trying to punish him for tricketing earlier. As the smoke bomb gets dropped, his regeneration heal, he's relying on that to stay alive, but Looney blinks into a stun, and Blizzo's going to fall. He goes for the defensive fear. He's trying to stay alive here. A storm bolt, he's down very low. Looney connects the NS. They make a swap over onto Miley. He's going to trade out his Barkskin. He actually gets cloned on his Barkskin. Really good clone from Looney, trying to deny that damage reduction. Can they stick onto him is the question, because switching out of the Resto Druid is very good. They want that as the primary target, but usually it's much harder to attack. Miley's trying to pull back, and Blizzo knows that he can't chase him. He's swapping back onto Gello, swapping back onto Thasia, just spreading their pressure out and forcing Miley to use a lot more mana. We see Blizzo actually leaping forward and charge stunning the evasion, catching Thasia into a full Stormbolt now, trying to finish him off. I don't think they have enough damage to do it. Gello blinking in, goes to the Deep Freeze, lands the Ring of Frost. Shamanistic Rage used to answer in response as Jamie is caught in center field. They might even be able to kill him through it if they can keep this CC chain rolling onto Looney. They need to juggle the control very well here. They chain it into the poly, they chain it into the clone. Jamie sees it coming. He pops the Ascendance. They're trying to punish Miley for pushing in aggressively here. Miley chaining that into a 1-second bash. I don't think they have any more CC for Looney. As I say that though, Thasia follows it up with a Garrote Silence. Can they keep the chain going? Maybe a DR Garrote Silence. They might be able to just finish him outright. We see a Stormbolt though onto Thasia. Thasia may be overextending a bit here, training out his Cloak of Shadows, trying to prevent any magic damage from Jamie as he was dipping dangerously low. This is a recklessness from Blizzo. He's looking to build some momentum, just attacking Gello and Thasia in the middle of the map. Both teams kind of nervous to push in here. It seems like Thasia is just pulling back, trying to extend Jamie away from the pillar. Speechless have all of their trinkets, so very important to stay alive here. A kidney shot maybe kind of randomly here onto Jamie. It was a little bit too early, but they do get the Ring of Frost regardless, although Jamie will be able to run and get out of line of sight. He's building up some Storm Strike and Maelstrom procs, I should say, to get some heals on himself. He's doing a good job. Looney, I think he chose to trick it out of the blind right away there, just try and keep full hots onto his team. They want to get some momentum, but every time, Thasia just always has a cooldown. Playing combat readiness, he seems to be pretty untouchable.
Yeah, and Speechless are looking in such good shape right now, I feel like, because even though it does look a little scary for them from time to time, look at their bars. They just have so many cooldowns available, and they're actually desperately going to swap it over onto Looney because of that, who did just use his trinket on the blind. The skin's forced out. They're not going to get him too low. Looks like he's going to be stable around 50%, although they are just tunneling into him. The killing spree comes out late now. The vigilance is super late. He could just die through it. He's down to 20%. He does have that NS available should he require it. I think he may well use it here just to recover quickly, and there is that NS, but he gets sheeped up on it. What can they do with this? The parry comes out from Blizzo. Looks like they should be okay for now, but that sheep did force the parry from Blizzo there. They do maybe have a kill opportunity onto the DPS, but they do both have trinkets. It looks like Speechless should be the team trying to get offensive right now. They do have a lot of cooldowns available. The preemptive Iron Bark from Looney, perhaps anticipating a deep, but he is on sheep DR, so they shouldn't be looking for it right yet. And Thesio is now the one dropping low. The evasion comes out, but he's down to 50% already. He's spamming out that feint, just trying to get as much damage reduction as possible as the slow sheep's coming from Gelu Baba. He's trying to set up some CC onto Looney. He does get the deep, the Raw, the sheep, and we do see they are going to punish Blizzard for using that parry earlier. He's down to 50%. The DR sap comes out. Can they follow it up? They need to get a Garrod or some clone or something. The full DR gouge, the rally comes out, the triple DR bash. They're trying to get as much CC as possible. The reflect comes out from Blizzard, the triple charge done, and Miley actually used his trinket there. He could go down here. The blink comes out. He's trying to kite away desperately. Blizzard's still low. Miley's low. We're into dampening 13%. I just don't know who's going to win at this point.
Yeah, whenever the Yacht Boys go into attack, they become a lot more vulnerable as they stack up, which is what Speechless wants. So we saw Miley have a bit of a close call, even though Blizzard was so low. We see Thasia caught into a full bash at the moment. Overlap, though, with the Stormbolt, and I think that overlap of stuns is going to cost them a lot of momentum. They could have had the Stormbolt on Miley and had good cross CC and maybe bursted Thasia down, but they're going to lose that opportunity because of a little bit of a miscommunication on the stun. Blizzard is trying to compensate with it with just damage. Thasia sees it, though. Thasia's going to run away. Gello rotating back. I like this retreat from the Yacht Boys, pulling Speechless off the pillar. They need them off the pillar if they want to get a kill, but Speechless still have a lot of defensive cooldowns. They're trying to commit their resources to Jamie, it would appear for now. Triple CC out for the Yacht Boys, traded up for the Shamanistic Rage of Jamie and his trinket as well. Still a lot of damage available for Jamie, and with dampening stacking up, his healing is going to get weaker and weaker. We see Looney caught into a sheep on his trinket. Miley looking for a clone. Is he going to be able to get it? Blizzo shuts him down with a full fear. Charge on over on Thasia, trades at that combat readiness right away, and Thasia's doing very well, rotating his defensive cooldowns. Every time they swap to him, he's got an answer, which means that Miley can hold on to his mana much longer. Gello still has 2 blocks. Really, there's no kill opportunity for Speechless right now. The Yacht Boys have a window to kill Jamie here in the next 30 seconds. Really, the next kidney shot. Here it comes, the kidney shot into Jamie. They drop the smoke bomb. This could easily be the game. Blizzo Bladestorms to get into the bomb to Vigilance. And great play from Blizzo to save Jamie. And now they're going to combine that with the Iron Bark, as the Yacht Boys have been doing an incredible amount of damage. They're just going to overlap the cooldowns to make sure they're safe as they swap over to Miley. Miley actually overlapping his Bark skins as well, as a turbo would have annihilated him with this Ascendance. Good reaction from Miley to know that he needed both of those cooldowns. Gello has his blocks if he needs to trade them. Maybe he's just going to trade them for mana. We see another setup, though, out from the Yacht Boys. Instant Shamanistic Rage from Jamie. Is that even going to be enough to survive, though? We see an offensive die by the sword from Blizzo. He does not want to get stunned up. He wants to stay aggressive around to Miley. They catch him into a full storm, but Miley's not trinketing. This is a huge mistake. He's easily going to go down. He trinkets the half bash. He's done to 20%. Gello peeling like a god, as well as Thasia to keep Miley alive, despite him trinketing a little bit late there. Miley does make it out alive, but now there is a kill window for the Speechless. If they can hang in a little bit longer and survive the next setup, they might be able to take the game.
Yeah, Miley really greedy there. It looks like it almost put them behind it. It might still cost them the game. He's struggling so much to top off Thessia, who has very little defensive cooldowns. He's going offensive onto Jamie. There's no damage reduction cooldowns. The killing spree comes out. He's down to 40%. Looney into that decrease. If they land the rough, they win the game. But excellent job by Blizzo, making sure that he couldn't land any CC. Looney also shaped the deep, making it incredibly hard for this RMD, who have had a really tough time this game, but they have been proving that they can get the pressure. The Ironbarks are going to run out now. This Sham Rage should be available for Jamie soon, so the Turbo Cleave should be stable. Miley's struggling so much. He has no NS, no Ironbark available. We do see blocks still available for Gelu, but Thessia and Miley are easy swap targets, and the pressure coming up from this turbo is just so high. It looks like they want to swap it up over onto Blizzo now, down to 80%. They're trying to get him low before the setup. Deep freeze is available. Here it comes. The deep freeze, the recklessness comes out from there, and Gelu Baba is forced into the block. He can't land the CC. We see the gouge to follow it up instead. They're desperately trying to produce something. The DR Rov, can they land a Cyclone off that? The bash comes out from Miley. They actually land the Rov onto Jamie there. Blizzo dropping low, Rally comes out, he's down to 30%, he could die here for sure. We do see the trinket come out from Kibba before blind. That's really unfortunate for them. They will not have that trinket available for blind now. And Blizzard's just solo on cooldowns, he's still down to 30%, dampening at 34%, he's struggling so hard, he's completely tapped. The Iron Bark comes out, he's down to 40%. Can they see the blind off this deep freeze? Or maybe a sheep, they actually land the sheep, he's down to 50%. It looks like Blizzard could easily fall here. There's no parry, the Iron Bark's about to run out, he has no damage reduction cooldowns, but you have to look at Miley as well, he's also he's struggling so much to kill Gelu Baba and himself. The full blind now onto Looney, no trinket available, this should be the game. He's down to 20%, down to 10%, Blizzard's gonna go down here, and he does die. And Yacht Boys actually take this 3-0 in such a convincing manner.
Wow. Miley was getting oomed, man. Miley, the swaps over on the Miley was really pressuring the Yacht Boys, but as it got deeper and deeper in the dampening, things like Enrage Regen and the off heals of the Shaman weren't enough to be able to keep them alive, and they stayed alive long enough. The RMD found their continuously did their setups, found those opportunities to get those defensive cooldowns, and they're going to take the whole series by storm with a 3-0 victory. That's a pretty big deal. The last game going all the way to 40% dampening, which is pretty bananas as well. But the Yacht Boys, they're going to go ahead and lock in their position in the finals, and they're going to knock down Speechless to have to play another series to get back there.
This RMD, I can't believe how strongly they took that. That's a statement when you take out the #1 seed with a 3-0 victory like that. We haven't seen many 3-0s at all in this tournament, I believe. We've seen so many incredibly close series, but this team just... I mean, sure, obviously the Turbo did come close to winning some of the games, but that was just insane. I can't believe how well these guys played. They actually were able to win the games both in a short period of time and a long period of time, really seeking out those opportunities to both survive and kill. So excellent job by this RMD.
Oh man, taking a quick look at that bracket to see how far we've come so far in this tournament. The Yacht Boys are going to be in the finals, but who will be facing them there? Speechless, you know they are roaring to get back into the games, get back into that matchup against the Yacht Boys, but they're going to have to get through a very hard team, as Troll Yargan and Reawakened are going to be